Hello everyone, it's Graham Coe from the Care Connector Network, and we're bringing you this broadcast to tell you a little bit about our event on the 10th of December in London, which is an event called Together We Can Change the Care Sector. The headline sponsors of that are Seam Group, and in the studio today we have Mark from Seam Group, who's going to be telling us a little bit about himself, a little bit about what Seam Group do and why they got involved with this year's event. So firstly, Mark, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do on a day-to-day basis within Seam Group.
Yeah, no, thanks, Graham. Hi everybody. My name's Mark Baty. I'm the Business Development Manager working for Seam Group. Seam Group within the care sector offer infrared inspection services. So we actually go in to care homes and we provide those inspection services on the electrical equipment within the care home. So the ultimate aim is to improve safety within the home, so reducing the risk of sparks and fires, improving the reliability of the fixed electrical equipment, which can allow the care home to run on more of a continuous basis. The inspections also identify opportunities to reduce energy costs, and all of these factors can really support and help to evidence against CQC single assessment framework and helping care homes to work towards meeting those requirements of the regulator. In terms of why we want to support the event going forward, well, we're really active and keen members of the Care Connector network. I love being involved with it, on the weekly calls and going to, the events where we can. So we're just really keen to continue to support that. And the care sector in the UK is a really important part of our business and a business that we're keen to continue to look to grow in.
For anybody that's out there that hears kind of electrical testing, we perhaps ought to cover that base as well to begin with. There are different types of electrical testing, but this isn't kind of things like PAT testing that some people might be aware of, is it?
No, it's not. It's infrared. It's using an infrared camera used to test the kind of fixed electrical components within a care facility. So these can be, switches, panel boards, not your standard appliances, which, as you see, are more PAT testing requirements, which is not what we do. But we're looking at the kind of fixed electrical components within a care home, and we use an infrared camera. So the infrared basically picks up on variations of heat, and it's looking for any defects, any loose connections, any issues with that particular component or that particular piece of equipment. And the infrared camera picks up on that. So we send an engineer out to the site, and they carry out these surveys and these inspections across all of the electrical components. So they take images, they do a report, and that data is then uploaded to our Viewpoint system, which is our own proprietary software. And the care home and the customer has full access to that, so they can see if they've got multiple care homes. They can see the results of all of those care homes. They can see where the risks are across the different sites that they may have, and perhaps where they need to focus their efforts more in terms of maintenance, health and safety, etc., because they'll be able to clearly see where the issues and where the risks are. And one thing that our software also does do is it can display back to the user how much they are saving in terms of their carbon emissions, which is really important, but also their costs. So one thing that these infrared inspections do is they identify overheating electrical components. So when a component is overheating, it's using more energy than it needs to or than it should do. So therefore it's costing more money to actually operate that piece of equipment. So when we've identified those issues and then the defects are fixed, it means that particular piece of equipment is consuming the right level of energy, which will reduce down your costs from what was previously. So we can display all that within the software, so it'll show how how much money is being saved in terms of your energy consumption, and also what that translates to in terms of reduction in your carbon footprint of the building. And the more facilities that you have, then the bigger the potential saving. So we don't just work within the care sector. We work within the hospitality sector, for example. So we work with global hotel chains who have hundreds of hotels, and we inspect them. So the savings can be really significant when you have multiple sites and multiple locations. So it can drive some real benefits from a business point of view, but also from an environmental sustainability point of view as well.
I was going to say, with that in mind, it sounds like when you go into a business to talk to them about it, that you potentially are talking to quite a number of different stakeholders. You might have been brought in by one stakeholder because that they see a potential risk issue in one area and they want to investigate that, but you may end up talking to other people in different positions in the business in order to kind of show the true value of this as a solution.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of benefits to this. So and the various benefits will appeal to different people within an organization. So whether it's a safety issue, that'll appeal to the safety kind of people. Whether it's energy efficiency, and that might appeal more to the management in the corporate kind of management. Whether it's ensuring that you're more in line with the regulator. We try and sort of wrap that up into an overall sort of value proposition that we can talk to customers about, which captures all of that really.
I think that's always nice, especially when you're trying to go into a business and potentially it might be on, as you say, on health and safety grounds, but then actually if you can talk to the CFO, because actually there may be a money saving element to it, that makes it easier for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why we're really keen to try and have conversations with as many people as we can within the care sector, because when I joined the Care Connector, probably not a lot of people, probably nobody really heard of Scene Group other than the customers that we currently work with. But if you're generally working within the care sector, then you might not have heard of what we do and the benefit that it can bring. So that's why, going back to your question earlier about why are you wanting to support these events, that's one of the reasons, because we know we've got a good solution, a really good solution that can really drive a lot of benefit and value for care home owners and operators. We want to really just get that message out there as much as we can.
I'm guessing as well that within that there may be property owners that have care homes per se within their portfolio, but that might not be the extent of their portfolio. They may have, other building assets that filter off into other sectors. So actually, when you've got the message to that level, it then may make a real big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. The value that these inspections can bring is not only in the care sector. There's additional benefits in the care sector because there's a big compliance factor here, and we can really help with that. But we work across many different sectors, and not only with these infrared inspections, we offer a much wider portfolio of services really around reliability and safety. So there's a much wider product offering here, but we really think that the IR infrared inspection product and service is really relevant to the care sector. And we currently work with some customers, and they see the benefits. They use our software well. They're really happy with what we do in terms of it driving improvements in safety, reducing risk, reducing costs. But we just want to continue to try and get that message out there to the care providers.
I'm guessing from an educational point of view then as well, and thinking with the event in mind coming up on the 10th of December, that another group of people you'd like to see there would be any kind of consultants who are working within the care sector, or anyone involved with CQC, etc. So because if you don't know about it, you don't know how to signpost to the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was at an event last week in Leeds, which was a care event, and you just get talking to people, and it might be that you're not speaking directly to the end user. That's always the challenge, and you'll be very lucky sometimes to get that in a networking event. But you'll be speaking to somebody who knows somebody who might be really interested in what you're talking about. And that's what these events are about, really. Networking and just getting to know and understand how things work, and then people can, and then if people are having a separate conversation about it, they can say, "Oh yeah, well actually, same group, Mark, I remember him. Why don't you have a chat with him?" And that's somehow sometimes how these things come about. So again, for me personally, I'm just trying to get out there as much as I can to care events and just network and speak to people and see what issues they're facing, what challenges they currently have. I know that compliance, particularly with CQC in England, is a real challenge and issue at the moment for care providers. So we're here to try and help them with that as best as we can, really.
From a kind of a more personal point of view, what sort of differences do you see with, or the challenges of the care sector apart from other types of sectors? And for you, what's the kind of importance of the care sector coming together and learning from each other?
Yeah, I think that's really important. And again, when I took this job with Scene Group, so I've been with Scene Group for about 8 months now, so I'm still relatively new to the role. And actually, my experience in the care sector is, from a professional point of view, pretty limited. I had a grandmother who was in a care home years and years ago. That's the only direct experience really I've had in the care sector. But from what I can see is that there's a lot of issues. Being at the event last week in Leeds was really good because you got to hear on a panel discussion directly from senior people within care homes. And they were saying that, there's a huge issue in terms of recruitment, retaining staff. Obviously, the regulation and compliance is a big issue. So there's a lot of really big issues in the care sector. And we keep hearing that, we need to open up the conversation and lines of communication so we can all help each other. But I think a lot of these, particularly when you get to the care home level, they're just trying to firefight and keep their head above water. So I can really see how challenging it is for them. So it's easy for me to say that, yes, we need to share good practice and communicate and, try and have discussions, at a high level around how we can improve. But I think at the kind of site level, if you like, at the level of the care home, a lot of these, care home managers and their staff are just trying day to day to manage their issues around staffing, their issues around recruitment, retaining staff, which are a really big issue. So I think there are a lot of challenges out there for care homes.
Any care home manager or anyone from a care home that's taking, part of their day out to come to an event like this, it shows a real commitment. And we kind of really appreciate that. So that's why we want to make sure that if you're going to come into that space, that you're going to go out enabled and that you're going to know something or have learned something that you didn't know when you went in. It's not just a case of getting together and networking, but there needs to be some real value and some takeaways from that. So I think that's really kind of important. But there is massive value in learning from each other, and I guess it's the same for any business owner, but particularly in something like the care sector, that when you feel like you're paddling in water all the time and you're trying to stop yourself from drowning, it seems like the last thing you want to do is invest time. But we all know that that's a valuable thing that we all have to do in business.
Yeah, absolutely. Important to keep up to date with what's going on in no matter what sector that you operate in. And like I say, last week when I attended this event in Leeds, it was great to just go and listen to some of the senior people within the care sector, talk about what challenges they're facing, and some of the potential solutions to these problems. And also you can go over afterwards and introduce yourself, which I took the opportunity to do, and just try and connect with people as well at that senior level. And yeah, I think it's so important to continue to get out there and learn and understand, particularly for me, as I said earlier, care sector is quite new to me in terms of from a professional perspective. So I really enjoy just going out there and speaking to people and trying to learn as much as I can about what's going on out there, really.
I'd love to ask this. I mean, from someone that's had a background where I've worked in the field of workplace adjustments and have gone into some fairly big organisations and dealt with people at quite a granulated level within those businesses. Senior management, people on the ground floor, etc. I don't know how you feel about this, but also I think one of the benefits of working with outsourced companies like yourself and bringing experts in to a business like a care home, etc., is that sometimes it actually provides quite a lot of feedback to management about what's going on within their business, because they possibly don't have time to get onto the ground floor all of the time. And maybe once you get in and you start dealing with different stakeholders at different levels, you can kind of start bringing people together in a way that management wouldn't even realize is possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen that across other kind of sectors that we work in, that once we engage with a particular customer, we might go in and have a small project that we need to deliver. And we go in and we deliver that and we do it well. The customer can really see the value, and then that grows and grows to a much wider opportunity and much wider benefit to the customer. So we've seen that many times across our business, where we'll get a small opportunity, but it'll grow into quite a big account, as we call it, within our business. And that's driven really from the customer seeing the value of what we do. And
starting conversations internally about what we can do. Yeah,
absolutely. And we see that on a regular basis. In infrared inspections are a good way to kind of start that engagement with a customer, because we offer a much wider portfolio of this kind of safety and reliability and consultancy based services. So the infrared product, if you like, inspection product is a good way to kind of start that conversation with customers. But we feel that within the care sector, it's a really good solution, a really good product for the care sector, for those reasons that I spoke about earlier, because it can deliver so many benefits that can kind of tick the box of a lot of the challenges that care homes are currently kind of facing around, safety.
Yeah. Tell me then, who would you like to see come along on the 10th of December? Who's the kind of people that you'd like to see come through the door?
Well, I mean, ideally it would be care home owners, care home operators. Be great to see care home managers there to again continue to have those types of conversations as to what challenges they're facing on a daily basis. We like to speak to people around who manage the buildings or the facilities, the health and safety managers, those type of people really, and also obviously wider suppliers as well, because you can build your network.
Okay, cool. So even people like who may run facilities management groups or anything like that, if they're doing facilities management for a number of buildings, etc., you'd like to see them there.
Yeah. So we don't necessarily need to work with the building owner, if you like, or the end user. It can be the facilities management company who work on behalf of the building owner or the customer. And we can we can work with them as part of their maintenance improvement or inspection strategy. So yeah, it's not just the end user that we work with. We can work with the facility company if that is the case.
Well, I look forward to seeing you and you out there as well at the event on the 10th of December. If you want to come along, we will be putting the links for you to get your ticket for that event as this goes out. It's in the Clerkenwell area of London, so Farringdon's the nearest train station. It's at the Flock showroom. It's a lovely showroom full of very nice furniture, very sustainable furniture as well, keeping in mind kind of Mark's sustainability hat as well. We'd love to see you there. Mark, thank you so much for coming in and talking to me today.
Thanks.